I needed to clean the carburetor on my Shineray Spring X. Unfortunately, getting to it requires removing approximately 73 pieces of plastic. Since there are no tutorials showing how they come apart, I had to figure it out myself. While I was in there, I also changed the spark plug and cleaned the fuel filter. The process mostly involved removing screws and applying increasingly aggressive amounts of force to plastic until something happened. Fortunately for you, you won't have to repeat that experiment. So, let's get to the carb. Since we are going to spend a lot of time with those plastic panels, it's only appropriate that we name them. Let's name them according to the order in which they should come out. This is panel number 1, panel number 2, panel number 3, 4, and the panel we actually need to remove, panel number 5. I wanted to give them pronouns too, but let's not do that since all of them would probably identify as carbon fiber panels, and that would make the video confusing. The most obvious and first piece to remove is panel number 1. It's held on by 4 screws and 3 plastic clips. So those are the plastic clips, just press the center pin and push them out. This is just a plastic guard for the air filter. You can unbolt just one side or both, it's up to you. Now that ugly bike rack needs to go, since those 3 bolts also hold panels number 3 and number 5 in place. The bike rack is held on by 3 hex bolts. There is another bolt in the middle of panel number 2. Remove that one too, then push the plastic left and right to access 2 screws underneath. Those screws connect both sides of panel number 5 and also this small panel number 3. Sadly, I realized I also needed to remove the seat, but it ended up being the easiest thing to remove so far. After the seat is out, you can remove one screw on each side of panel number 3. Pull it backwards and out since it has plastic tops hooked onto panel number 5 on both sides. After that is out, you can remove the screw holding panel number 5 in place. Now, here I made a mistake because I was sick of removing parts of the bike, so I removed panel number 5 by force when the correct way was to remove panel number 4 first. That one is held on by 2 bolts, one here and one right here. After that, pull it backwards and out. Since I removed this piece out of order, you will continue to see panel number 4 throughout this video until it was time to put everything back together, and I realized I couldn't do it without removing that piece first. And finally, here is the carburetor. To remove it, we need to disconnect the fuel line, air intake, choke cable, throttle cable, and the engine connection. It's much simpler than it sounds. First, turn the fuel off. That will allow you to unscrew the fuel line without spilling fuel everywhere. Next, loosen the bolt holding the choke assembly and disconnect the cable. Loosen the clamp on the air intake and remove the rubber hose. Now you can remove the 2 bolts connecting the carburetor to the engine. And that leaves only the throttle cable, which unscrews pretty easily. One day I'll buy one of those silicone gloves and stop destroying my hands. To clean the carburetor, you can use carb cleaner or you can use the gasoline that leaked out of the carburetor. Try to remove all plastic and rubber parts since carb cleaner can damage them. You can open the carb by removing those two bolts. Be careful not to lose or damage the tiny float needle. The fuel can also melt your plastic tray and gloves if they're not rated for it. Ask me how I found out. Take the important pieces aside, spray everything with carb cleaner and scrub it with a toothbrush. So I'm back to working with bare hands. You can also use compressed air to flush out any dirt and leftover cleaner. Now these are the most important parts to clean. You can remove them and use carb cleaner and compressed air to make sure they're completely clear. And that's it. To put it back together, attach the float needle to the float and slowly lower it back into place. The float needs to sit straight and move freely. Install the rubber gasket and close the carburetor. Since all the plastic panels were removed, I decided to clean the fuel filter too. This tiny orange thing. I clamped the hose so no fuel would leak out, removed the wire clamps and cleaned it with carb cleaner. It has some dirt in it, but nothing serious. There is no need to replace the filter, so I'm just putting it back. Now, let's get back to the carburetor. Install the throttle assembly. Line up the slot on the side with the idle adjustment screw. It only goes in one way, so don't force it. It should slide in easily. That's what she said. Jokes are dead, or do people still use them? Now, I'll loosely install the two bolts and attach the carburetor to the engine. You can now reconnect the fuel line and turn the fuel back on. Attach the choke cable, reconnect the air intake and tighten the two bolts holding the carburetor in place. And you're done! Since we are already here, let's also change the spark plug. Pull off the spark plug cap and grab one of those spark plug removal tools. Well, if you clean the carburetor, you can handle this. I don't really need to narrate it. I'll put this spark plug number somewhere on the screen. Now, to start the bike, use the Kickstarter. It might take a few tries. Let the fuel work its way through the carburetor, and after a few seconds, we have a perfect idle. Now, I was seriously considering calling it a day and putting a sticker on the front, Shineray Spring X naked, but I decided against it. Just follow the order of the plastic parts and you will be done in no time. Panel number 5 goes first, then 4, 3, 2 and 1. 72 screws later, it's done.